I just thought I'd add a little humor before we got started there. Um, I've had friends ask me to show how I built this SkyWatcher rig. Um, this is what I've made during the winter. Some details about it. First thing you got to do is start out with a good tripod. This is a Manfrotto 190 Go. It's a video tripod, which is a little heavier than a DSLR camera tripod. You got some weight up here. It's got a nice fluid head on it for smooth operation. Up and down. Got a little bubble here to level it, and nice fluid head on it for nice smooth operation. That's what you need to start out with. Has a shoe that'll slide out. It's got a little button here to keep it from falling out on the ground. You just push this button here. It'll come the rest of the way out. Shove it up and it locks. Then you can get it centered where you want it. Lock it up. This support device here, this is called Follow Focus. It's made as a support device for DSLR cameras. Basically have a plate to hold the camera, little holder here for the battery compartment, couple kind of U-shaped brackets to hold the night vision tube, and then a lens support out here. You can get all this stuff on Amazon or eBay. It's called Follow Focus. There may be other name brands out there. But everything you can put where you want it, center the weight. This bracket here for the camera, took a grinder and ground that out. It used to be solid across there, so I could just pick it up off here if I needed to without sliding battery off and sliding this bracket off. I just cut that out of there with a grinder. Dremel tool. You have the battery compartment that plugs into the socket that goes to the night vision scope. You've got your regular adapter for your lenses. These are Minolta lenses. You just can take them out, switch them out. Whatever you want, whatever kind of lens you want. You can get the right adapter. You can use any lens you want. Come on. There we go. Locks in. Got these on so they're a little easier to zoom and focus. They don't want to stay on too well, but in the dark, a little easier to work. This battery box, it's your 4 AA's in there. I'll show you this later, but I adapted it. Put a LED light in here and another plug here so I could hook up this wall transformer, save the batteries. You just plug this in, it bypasses the batteries, and you don't use your batteries. Put a LED light on in there so wouldn't leave it on and run the batteries down. I'll show you a diagram of this, but I'll show you how I made this. Starting with this tube, cut this 3-inch PVC pipe, 3-inch, it's 8 1/4 long. May vary for you because you have to determine how far back your front of your tube lens is from the lens from your lens here, so it might be 1 inch, 1 1/4. Mine worked out where the back of the lens, even with this, gave me enough room up here in front to make everything work. You have to figure that out on your own, but basically if this is the night vision tube, what I did was, you solder your wire onto the negative ring on the front, then you have your positive screw here. You take your positive wire, negative wire. I ran mine long because you have to connect it to this plug, and you got to have enough room to get the cap off in case I wanted to pull this cap off and get this night vision tube out. So I gave it some extra wires so you could just push the plug in there, put your nut on there to make that connection. So what I did was took some of this 1/4 inch foam with sticky on one side. I put it on my night scope like this. Ran the wire through there. Did the same thing on the back. A little long there. So yeah, I have this on my night scope, rubber on each end, foam rubber, and when you use the right size, you use the night scope, it fits snug in there. So I also wrapped the inside of this, just filled the rest of it up and wrapped it. This don't have sticky stuff on it. I just wrapped it around and put tape around it to just give it some insulation on this part. If you cover the whole tube in this 1/4 inch foam, you get about halfway in there and it don't want to go no further. So if you just use a little bit on the ends, fill the rest in with the 1/8 inch foam. So you basically got some kind of insulation on there. Then you can shove this up in there. Well, shove it up in there so the wires are at the top. This notch here gives you room to get your plug in there. Okay, it's not quite deep enough, it needs to be a little more, but if you see you get the idea. So that don't interfere with your plug, you shove it all the way up on there. Okay. Now, as far as keeping it from moving around, I mean, it's a pretty snug fit to begin with, but just be on the safe side. Cut another piece of this 3-inch, whatever your scope needs to sit back from the lens, an inch, inch and a quarter, whatever that needs to be. Cut another piece of this, inch, inch and a quarter, and then cut a slot out of it so you can shrink it and fit it right inside here. That's your spacer to keep it from going forward. And then once you get the cap on, it can't go forward no farther because you got that spacer on the inside here. You've cut maybe a 3/8 of an inch or something out of it, and then it'll shrink down and slide right inside. That keeps it from sliding forward, your night vision scope. And then basically this is flush. So you slide that on there. Okay, so that's basically what I got. And then once you get, before you do that, before you put your scope in there, what I did was, I set this down, took this was before all this other stuff was on here, took these two brackets, set them on there like so. Let me take this off. So I got these brackets where they're, evenly spaced. These brackets fit this 3-inch PVC pipe just perfectly. So then I just took a drill and drilled down through these brackets like so. That gave me this. So then you just take these stainless steel screws, stick them up through the hole, put your bracket on, feed your bracket on here, start your screw. I use these castle nuts so I don't have to use a lock washer. So you have your bracket on here and you just tighten these screws on. So with your bracket on there, you'll stop somewhere about there. And you just take a pair of pliers, hold the screw, tighten it the rest of the way down on your bracket till it's snug. And once you do that to all four of them, your two brackets here, you just take the Dremel tool, cut off the extra screw, and that's nice and tight. You got to do that before you put the night vision scope in, or you'll never, you'll never get it in there. You can't tighten up the screws. So once you get these two brackets on and tightened up, you can slide in your scope, put your spacer in, that'd be the other end. Put your spacer in. You can glue your adapter ring. You use another cap, cut you a hole, right size, to fit the adapter ring, glue it on. I glue it on with epoxy. Make sure you get it centered. I mean, don't drill this hole any bigger than you have to, but once you put it in there a little bit, make sure it's centered. You got the same reveal all the way around, and then just put we'll put some on the lens before you shove it down in there, here, and then put you a bead right around here, and then you glue that onto your tube. Put your lens adapter ring on it with your lens adapter ring, and then you're set up. This rear ring I don't glue because, first of all, I glue this front ring so in case for some reason it tilts down, it just won't pull off and your lens fall on the ground. So I glue that one. This one I don't glue in case I ever want to get this back out of there. I've got an easy way to get it out, and there's no pressure or nothing on it besides the camera up against the bottom. What I used on the back is just this is one of those C-mount rings. It comes with about 3 or 4 adjustments or widths of rings. So, and then it's also got a ring that you can fasten. Now I don't think you can see it very well. It's also got a ring that fastens right here. See, it's got a ring that fastens to the plastic, and then this is another ring, or if you take that one off you can put this one on, or I think there's one other size you can screw on depending on where you want to get your camera towards that towards the end of the viewing lens. So then I have this plug that just plugs in there. Those 2 wires that I showed you that you run down, you connect to this plug, female plug, and then you got your male here. This is a battery box. Sometimes it's a... So, it takes 4 batteries. I'll show a diagram of this wiring on the video, but you can buy these, these battery boxes 4, or this one's a 6 battery. Well, I use the extra 2 battery compartments for my LED light and my plug, give me some room, so I just bought a 6 instead of a 4. Comes with this switch on it, and this plug, this plug here and this plug here is 2-wire plugs. The center is positive, the outer is negative. That's for the scope. You only need 2 wires coming for the scope. But for this transformer to work and bypass the batteries, you need a 3-prong plug. You can get that on eBay. I'll give you the description. But I'll give you also the schematic to this. But you need a 3-prong plug there. And then basically you have your 2 black wires that are running out here off this plug. You have your positive and your negative coming off the batteries. This LED light has got two wires on it. One goes to the top and one goes to the 3 o'clock position. It's also, if you can see, it's got a resistor on this LED light to keep it from burning up. So I'll show you all the connections on that, but works pretty good because you can plug this in, bypasses the batteries, lights up your scope. If you're in an area where you don't have electricity, then you can just go off the batteries. It gives you a dual option there. I'll give you the schematic I'll have where you can buy this transformer too. But that's the way the battery pack operates. I want to give a heads up to Horse Farmer 1000. He turned me on to this support rig. It really works good. It's a little pricey, but UFO Lou, he's got a cheaper one you can do if you don't want to spend the money. His videos on YouTube. So that's about it. Ain't a whole lot to it. The good thing about this support rig is, you know, if you want to move things around to balance it more center wise or whatever, you got a little adjustment. I put this, couldn't really make a good connection here, so I put this 1/4 inch foam rod, glued it around the metal piece to basically keep the light out. So turn the battery on. As you can see, I can adjust. Looks like I need to adjust my camera a little bit. As you can see, it works. I'm gonna set me up another tripod with a smaller screen, 9 or 10 inch screen, you know, out to the side where I can hook in a HDMI out to the screen, so I can have a bigger screen over here instead of trying to look at this small. Plus, when if you're trying to move it around, trying to keep the keep your eye on that little bitty screen. I also thought maybe, if you had a laptop to use for the screen, that there's security software that, it doesn't record anything until the cameras detect movement. So I was thinking maybe incorporating that maybe into a laptop so you didn't just record dead airspace. You know, it's got a sensitive selector on it where, as far as movement, you can select how sensitive it is. So, you know, when something flies over, it kicks on and records. So you don't have, you know, 6 hours or 4 hours of tape or recording that you got to go through and watch. It'll just capture whenever there's movement on the screen. So I'm going to look into that a little more. It's the middle of winter here where I'm at, and so I can't really go outside and record. So when it comes spring, I'm going to get that together. I may make another video showing it if it all works out like I think it will work out. I'll show you that. But this is basically it for the SkyWatcher rig. Gonna get some recordings this spring and see what I can see. Alright, well, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and peace. Okay, I wanted to show you, I forgot to show you, this wall transformer. You can see it's got the batteries on. Turn the battery pack off. Maybe this ain't turned on. Okay, there we go. Sorry, the thing wasn't turned on, but as you can see, with the transformer at the wall plugged into the plug, pull it off, nothing. Turn the batteries on. Voila. Turn on the transformer. Works. Just wanted to show you that in case you guys thought I was pulling your leg. Batteries. I don't know if you can see that screen, but showing. Turn the battery pack off. Plug in the transformer. There you go. All right. Peace.